or hinder McIver's bid. Sun News reporter Josh Skurnick joins us now from Alberta for more. Well, Josh, what's this all about?
Well, it all concerns Artur Pawlowski. He's the leader of that street church in Calgary that is in the news for its controversial comments against, among other things, gays. Now, this all came about when McIver attended their March for Jesus event, where it was this event that he had been attending for 4 years then. And then it came out that they had all of these things on their website. Among other things, the leader of this church, Artur Pawlowski, had said that the historic flooding in Alberta was caused in part by God's wrath and anger against gays. Well, when this did come out, McIver had to go turn around, and he said that he apologized, and he actually the next weekend went to the gay rodeo in Alberta in order to, I guess, try and save face and extend an olive branch. But despite all this, despite McIver disavowing the church, the leader has said that, quote, McIver is best able to defend Alberta's traditional values and that he is the best candidate for the leaders of that church and for anybody who agrees with its values. Anthony.
And Josh, has McIver made any response to receiving this endorsement, embraced it, distanced himself from it?
Well, it's interesting. You know, as I had said, he's been going to this thing for 4 years now. That's what the MLA, Kent Hare, he's one of the Liberal MLAs here in Alberta, had pointed out. But even to this, McIver has said that he's sorry. He says that these comments are nasty, unimaginable. And he just says that he never had read the website. You know, we have to take him at his word there. But, I mean, this doesn't help him, right? Especially with a race such as this where it really has been quiet. None of the other candidates have had any big gaffes per se. Actually, really, they haven't. And so with that, the fact, and this being the one big, I guess, black spot on this campaign for any of the candidates, it's one that, you know, all of the reporters and all the media are going to keep circling back on and trying to update until someone else really does something else. Anthony.
And Josh, aside from causing some social media excitement in certain interest groups' corners, is this a general interest issue that much of Albertans will frown upon this association? Is it something that people are going to forget about? Where does it really sit on the scale?
Well, I mean, the real question is how many Albertans really do know about it. I mean, this PC leadership race has been so quiet. It's during the summer. It's really in the doldrums of summer, and it's not really galvanizing a lot of interest outside of the people in the media and outside of the people of the government. People have said that this is a race of just galvanizing the support of the PC base. And so with no MLAs going and supporting both McIver or Lukaszuk, and a multitude, I think it's the majority, over half of the MLAs going and supporting Prentice, it's something that we're just going to have to wait and see as it goes into the final countdown to Election Day in September. Really, the most interesting point of this has come from the Wild Rose, who's been also releasing its own platforms. Last week they said that they would repeal the .05 BAC legislation and put more money into getting .08 drunk drivers off of the road. So it just goes to show they're trying to capitalize on the attention, what little attention there is on this race, and it's showing that the other candidates aren't doing that much in order to really get attention away from the official opposition or onto themselves as well.
Great, thank you, Josh Skurnick, for that report.
No worries.
Speaking of a sleepy race, we need some debate in the Alberta PC leadership race, and yesterday we told you about an argument within the Alberta PC party as to whether the party should in fact organize at least one televised or live streaming all candidates debate. The party pretty much says no. Our next guest, Susan Elliott, argued the opposite in a Calgary Herald blog post. Susan joins us live from Calgary. And Susan, I first want to get your reaction on what I was just speaking about with Josh there. What do you make of this endorsement by Pastor Pawlowski? Good thing, bad thing? Will people hone in on it? Will they ignore it?
Well, first of all, a candidate can't help who might endorse him. So Rick McIver may or may not have solicited this endorsement. I doubt that he did. But whatever pro or con is going to come from it, I think has already been discounted with the headlines that he received a couple of weeks ago. So, you know, if you're inclined to be of a social conservative bent and you think this is a good thing, you've already decided that he's the candidate for you. If, on the other hand, you find that this discounts him as a candidate in your mind, that's already been done. So I frankly think it'll make very little difference.
Oh, well, and from that perspective, and for viewers who are not familiar with the details of Alberta politics, is there a large appetite for social conservatism right now in the Alberta PC party?
No, actually, I don't think there is. I think there is a minority. But we've done some research over the past couple of years, and we asked Albertans questions like, do you think government should involve itself in questions like abortion or gay marriage or some of these hot button issues? And about 75% of Albertans say, no, actually, my views are my own, they're my own business, and I don't want government involved in it, and I'm not going to judge candidates on the basis of their position on that. So Albertans are just like most mainstream Canadians anywhere. They feel that these views are their own and they're not part of the political discourse.
So basically, perhaps people do agree with Pastor Pawlowski, but they want government to be completely separated from those conversations, and it's a family issue, a home issue.
That's correct. Now, there are some activists, of course, as there are everywhere, but the vast majority of Albertans do not see this as a government responsibility.
All right, and let's go back to that issue that you wrote your blog post for the other day in the Calgary Herald. Having that debate, has there been any further traction on whether or not the party will go ahead with a plan like that?
No, I think the party has made up its mind. Now, what happened in the 2011 leadership, the party did sponsor 6 all-candidates debates around the province, and they were all live streamed. And word is that that was pretty costly, and the the party is feeling a little more frugal these days, and I don't think they want to invest the money. I think they should. That's my view. Even if it was just one, I think that the party does owe it to the voters to put the candidates under the hot lights and ask them some tough questions and allow everyone to see how they respond.
Is there any opportunity there to shift the burden from the party's fiscal pockets to a public access television station that already has the ability to do these things with the equipment on hand?
Well, maybe. Maybe you guys at Sun News Network would like to give us a couple of hours and put us up. I mean, any television station is going to ask itself the fiscal equation: is there revenue in this that's commensurate with the costs? I don't know the answer to that. I'm not in that business. In Alberta, when you're choosing the PC leader, you're choosing someone who is going to be the premier for at least the next couple of years. I think there's public value in that. But I'm not in the industry.
Do you think that whoever wins is someone who really needs to be rigorously tested by both the other candidates and the party membership? Because it seems like a live debate would be the best forum to really challenge people face to face.
I think so. I think there's 2 things. One is the skills of the candidates. Most people don't tune in to question period in Alberta or in Ottawa, and so they haven't seen these guys under fire. How well do they think on their feet? And that's a very important skill for a leader, not only in the legislature, but on the campaign trail. So I think people deserve to see how well they think on their feet. The second thing is with respect to policy. We've had very little policy in this race, and there's a reason for that. The party has a clause in the contract that the candidates have to sign that tells them they're not allowed to announce any policy that has fiscal implications, and in this day and age that pretty much limits you. But the consequence of that is that it's very difficult for voters to figure out what are the policy differences between these guys. And I think a debate would be a forum in which you could put them on the spot and get away from some of their ambiguous comments and try and nail them down a little bit.
It's a very interesting party rule. Susan Elliott, thanks very much for joining us on the show with your analysis.
Thank you, my pleasure.
And still ahead, international politicking. Some Canadian leaders